Hello and welcome to take number 12 of vlog number 3. This is a perfect case in point of today's topic, shiny object syndrome, aka SOS, because I remembered really late that I hadn't filmed my video yet, and it's Wednesday, and I'm bringing out a video each week without fail. But remembering that, my brain was like, oh yes, making video, we love making videos. It's been a whole week, this feels really new and exciting, and it just super woke me up. Even though I was so done, I just wanted to go to bed, but when I remembered, SOS kicked in, and I got all high energy, and I got really perfectionistic and obsessive about this, taking me to take number 12. Because I also realized, okay, this was a great idea for a topic and I want to do this well. I did, however, get the feedback that these videos are too long and rambly, which I absolutely agree with, and I hadn't thought of, so this is why, please, just keep the feedback coming, always. And yeah, I have a lot to say, so it may not be that much shorter, but at least I hope that it will be less rambly, because I've practiced the structure a few times now. Okay, so I want to talk about shiny object syndrome in two areas of my life, which are relationships and work. And if this video is something that you find interesting and helpful, then let me know below which other areas of my life I should cover. If you don't let me know, then I just won't do a part 2, okay? So please do, if that's something you want. But first of all, what is shiny object syndrome and where does it come from? Okay, so the way I see it as a layperson, the way I understand it, it arises from the combination of high energy and an attentional systems that are just different from the norm. Okay, so our attention is neither better nor worse. It's also not necessarily constantly spread out. We also hyperfocus. It's just different. Our whole attentional systems, which are a thing about cognitive science that everyone has, these components that work together to regulate focus and attention, they're just different for us. Okay, so this combination results in us being like, ooh, squirrel, or like, oh, give me chocolate right now, or falling in love with everyone, or trying out a new hobby every week, learning a new language every month, things like that, which can seem pretty irrational and impulsive if you consider maybe being at full capacity or misprioritizing or things that a normal person wouldn't do. But for us, it's a very strong drive towards this exciting newness because we feel like it could be very constructive or pleasurable, normally both. And yeah, there was another point, but I forgot it. So let's dive right in. When dating, back in the day, that was a really weird start. What I meant to say is, when this was a really big problem back in the day, when I was dating with zero awareness of either neurodivergence nor the fact that ethical non-monogamy exists and is a thing, is an option. And so I was basically just completely in the dark, as were we all, I think. I mean, I still am pretty young, and I'm talking about the past few years, so this includes experiences of being really young. And yeah, also neurodivergents tend to attract each other. So looking back at my dating history, I'm like, and it was just a really funny, frustrating roller coaster and a very mixed bag. And talking about SOS, the real problem was socialization once again and closed-mindedness. I've had so many bad and partially traumatizing reactions to having to have the conversations that I felt like I had to have because I'm very honest and direct and authentic about what was going on with me. And how do you tell your super young monogamous partner, as a super young, unexperienced person yourself, hey, this super interesting other person just caught my eye big time, and I really want to get to know them, or I keep thinking about them, but this does not change the way I feel about you and our relationship. Not an easy task. And so this was a very recurrent problem. Of course, it meant the end of a few relationships, but I'm very proud to report that I never cheated on anyone. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And it's actually not the main reason why I'm non-monogamous. I just wanted to make that clear, but it's a contributing factor, and I've been very happy with ethical non-monogamy for a few years now. But I'm still open to anything. So I guess that's kind of my solution was awareness. Keep working on communication. That's a lifelong thing. And looking for the right people who share my values and desired lifestyle and level of awareness and level of communication. That's the hardest thing, is finding people who are constantly on the same level and with the same topics of interest where you're at. Yeah, especially if you are actively pushing pushing along in your journey and developing and stuff, then yeah, you're constantly having to look for, okay, who's on my page. Yeah, so okay, that was problem solution. Next, yeah, and if there's anyone out there listening who experiences SOS and is also naturally monogamous, like you feel monogamous and you would like to have monogamous relationships, then please hit me up, because I have so many questions about coping strategies and conversations that have been had and all the things. So yeah, I feel like that would make for a fantastic phone call, live or otherwise, video or otherwise. Yeah. Okay, next topic, work. My friends will know. How many jobs have I had? How many degrees have I started? How many different career paths have I started on? And I have learned so much from all of this. So I would do it again, all of it. And it's invaluable experience. And what I ended up doing was going really high level in coaching terms, and figuring out what things do I really care about, what are my strengths, basically how do I want to live my life, and what do I want to have done before I die. So that's the first, I guess, piece of advice, is get conscious about how you're living your life as early as possible, and get really philosophical, really dig in there, and face your own mortality, because this is your life. Better live it on purpose, because you're gonna have to live it either way. Yeah, and so from this came all the different things that I realized they're not gonna go away. This is who I am. This is what I love and care about. So all I can do is play around with the constellations of how this expresses itself in my life. And so if I find a way to create projects out of all of these things that I can solidify and be more concrete about, then I can have these projects ready. And every time that I get the urge to task switch, which is also a thing, it's a part of SOS, sometimes you just need a switch. You're like, I need something different, anything. Instead of switching away from the one thing that I'm forcing myself to do to be productive, the switch then, if I only have one thing, is going to mean I'm going to go get ice cream. I'm going to go fight a kangaroo in Australia. I'm going to go start a debate. So if I give myself all of these options, then the urge to switch just means I'm going from being productive A to being productive D, and then productive C, and then productive F. And so that has been miraculous for me. Of course, I have to be aware that the rate of success is going to be much slower or lower. So higher probability of failure, everything's going to take more time, but I'm okay with that, because I've built up a hell of a lot of resilience, and my high energy means that I would put in more hours than the average person anyway. So I hope that also helped. As I said, I'm happy to do more areas if that's something you'd like. And I really hope that helped. I will see you in the next one.